Hey everyone, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with Fred Rosser. Hi.
Thank you for having me. I always say, don't die with a story, you tell it. So anything for my girl. So when you hit me up, I said, absolutely, let's knock it out. So yeah, thanks for having me. But before we get started, let me just say that Mr. No Days Off Fred Rosser has a calendar that is coming out. It's been a bucket list of mine, especially this crazy 2020 to come out with something that you can hang on your wall for 2021. So I'm very happy to announce that these calendars are going to be launched tomorrow on my social media at Real Fred Rosser, my government name, not Darren Young, but at Real Fred Rosser. So I'm a shy guy. I got to put myself over first, first and foremost. So I had to put that out there first and foremost. So thanks again for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I am all about that shameless self-promotion. If you don't put it out there, people just won't know about it. So we got to
Yes.
send it off. We will link to all of your socials so people can check out the calendar. I mean, you mentioned being a shy guy there, but a lot of these pictures you've been posting as of late, even the ones in the calendar, it doesn't seem so shy. So did you have to kind of break out of that? I mean, you are in the ring half the time, like wrestling in spandex, but it's different. You know what I mean? So did you kind of
Yes,
have to
yes.
break out of that comfort zone? Like, kind of tell
Well,
me the thought process when you're doing it.
well, I just turned 37. I'm not afraid to share my age. I just turned 37 November 2nd, 1983. So, as you get older, stuff starts to sag and stuff like that. So I want to be able to do something I've never done before. For me, being the first openly gay WWE superstar to come out while still signed and be able to be himself, I say, why not? I wouldn't have done it at 26, that's for sure, because I wasn't comfortable with myself. But at 37 now, why not? It shows a softer side of you. Vince McMahon would always say in promo class, never be afraid to make a fool of yourself. So um, I'm all about why hide hard work.
Definitely. Well, as you mentioned, fans can get that tomorrow, and I'll actually put this up tomorrow. So everyone, you can get that today. So head over to his socials and pick up the brand new 2021 calendar. Now, because of the pandemic, shows were of course put on hold. Many of us really had to focus on, oh, how are we going to rejig things? So how amazing did it feel after months and months of being put on that standby to finally get back out there and get back into the ring?
Well, for me, New Japan Pro Wrestling was always a bucket list of mine. And you know, I know with WWE, nothing lasts forever. WWE is the revolving door. People come back and, leave. But my bucket list was New Japan. And it was actually Lance Hoyt who I did FCW with, Florida Championship Wrestling, back in 2010. So him and I had a relationship. Fast forward to 2019, and I had ran into him on a show in Pomona, California, and he was with New Japan at the time. And, we were just chatting it up, and he said, "Yeah, so what are you up to?" I said, "I'm just making moves, doing these little quality shows over quantity. And, but I've always wanted to do New Japan." And he said, New Japan is actually doing a show out in LA at the Globe Theater in November of 2019. So I attended the show. The show started like 7 p.m., 7:30, but I got there like 5 p.m. because I wanted to get there early, meet everyone, feel the ring. I've been doing this 18 plus years. I still wanted to be able to feel it because it's a different ring. It's a different atmosphere. I've never been in that type of New Japan type atmosphere. It's different. So I watched the show from beginning to end, and that same question was running in my head. Do I belong here? Do I belong here? Do I fit in? Do I fit in? After the show was done, I said to myself, man, I can hang with these guys, man. I can go with these guys. I can elevate these guys because at this point in my career, I'm all about elevating talent, and New Japan Pro Wrestling has been elevating me, and I'm truly, truly blessed. But my bucket list isn't done yet because in 2021, I want to go out to Japan and wrestle in Japan. And yeah, anytime I was with WWE, the reason being is when WWE did a tour of
Weren't you
Japan.
on other tours?
What's that?
Weren't you on other tours when they were doing
Yeah,
the
I was
tours? Yeah.
exactly. I was on different tours, so Probably interviews with you. I've done interviews with everyone saying my goal was New Japan. So I'll keep saying the same stories, and it all came to existence. And I've been doing some of my best work of 2020, knock on wood. Shibata-san, a legend in Japan, has said that I've done some of my best matches on their New Japan Strong new show. So that means the world to me. The respect of your peers, the respect of the fans is great, but the respect to your peers means the world to me. And I recently put out a tweet. I always say my social media is an open diary to the world. So anything I ever post always comes from the heart with the intent to inspire, motivate, and educate the masses. But, fans ask me all the time, try AEW. Why not AEW? Why not AEW? Well, I get tired of having my back, against the wall. I have to defend myself and say, I've tried AEW not once but twice, and they said no. But AEW wasn't my all-in goal. It was always New Japan. So, but I'm not one of those grizzled wrestlers that, this, that is, I'm not a negative person. I like all wrestling. I like AEW, Impact, ROH. I love it all. Back in the day when I was a kid, the Attitude Era, my living room had three TVs on. One TV had Monday Night Raw. The second TV had WCW Nitro. The third TV was Monday Night Football. So like, I was a fan then. I'm still a fan now. Yeah, I love it all.
It must have just blown your mind the moment you realized everything was coming to fruition. You were going to actually be in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. I can't imagine just the excitement and, of course, some of the nerves, even because even though you've been doing this for as long as you have, it's that stuff just doesn't go away, especially when you have that
Never,
passion.
never, never. I never eat before matches. I like to feel light. I'm always drinking coffee to kind of get that energy going to flush me out because again, I need to be light. But yeah, I always get nervous before matches, but once I hit that curtain, something changes like in me. Like I'm very calm, cool, and collected. I'm quiet backstage. I'm not like a loud guy like the Miz or someone like that. I love the Miz now, but I'm not a loud guy. I'm quiet. But once I hit the curtain, something happens to me where like I turn into a different person. I get aggressive. It's something that like it's something you just have to see in person, and with New Japan giving me that opportunity, my best work has been shown, and you're only as good as your last match, so I've got to continue to keep speaking it into existence. That 2021 I will go to Japan and I will make moves out there because I still have a lot left in the tank. I'm 37. I make my 20s jealous of my 30s. I've got so much left to offer and I'm not done yet. And, for them to um, pretty much embrace who I am, the Block the Hate movement, uh, I've paved the way for people in WWE. I feel like I'm paving the way for people for New Japan to live their life openly and honestly, however they choose, but still be able to deliver in the ring. And I'm delivering. I'm delivering.
That's such a wonderful thing. It's always nice when the place you've always wanted to be, you end up there and it's exactly what you want. It's not like there was anything bad that was thrown your way. So I'm just really happy to hear the whole experience has been wonderful so far. I really am.
Yeah, I say, and even when I was teaming with Titus, we always said, know yourself and know your worth. Uh, WWE shut the door in my face over 40 times until I got that one yes, May 4th, 2009, when I earned my contract with WWE. Uh, you know, New Japan was a bucket list of mine, and now I'm doing it. I just had to speak it into existence and just work hard and be prepared. That's what it's all about. Be prepared.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, I had to bring up the wrestling aspect of your life, but I recently discovered something else that you've been up to performance-wise, and it's been super fun to watch you do this. And that's the fact that you recently actually had a big part in Little House on the Ferry, a off-Broadway musical.
And fast forward to me signing on to this project, December of 2019. Chris Jericho, big inspiration, and it it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do because you can read lines, with wrestling, and then incorporate the moves. But for me, reading and trying to memorize a script,
It's a
a
lot.
large script, and then having to incorporate singing and dancing, choreography, and a lot of my singing was sing talk. I was a fish out of water story. It's a reality TV project where reality and reality TV go head to head, and I was that fish out of water story, WWE veteran, being thrown into this off-Broadway musical. And of course, with reality TV, there's conflict, and there was real life conflict because a lot of what I've learned from WWE and just me, how I am. I'm the first one there, last one to leave. I have no experience doing off Broadway theater. So when the other actors are saying, "Oh, when are we getting our breaks?" Coming from the wrestling world, I'm like saying to myself, "Breaks? What breaks? I'm here to get here early, knock this out, practice, and get out. Not take breaks and
What's a
stuff
break?
like that." Yeah, I mean, what's a break? So that's what I learned from WWE, and just performing and just being comfortable with yourself and in WWE. It was an experience for me that I'll never forget. And then the preparation, like I was a madman, I was a madman with the preparation. And then to be able to perform in front of a live theater crowd is different. I can honestly say no other WWE superstar or wrestler has ever been thrown into an off-Broadway musical that is becoming a huge hit on Broadway on demand, so for me, having to sing, dance, and act, and also have a solo in this musical, let me just say, like, once I was done with my solo, which, our audience can see on Broadway Demand, after I was done with my solo, I went off the stage and I was crying my eyes out, crying my eyes out. And I was going to the girls that were part of my solo. I was coming up to them and said, "Girls, look at my eyes, look at my eyes." And they were saying, because they have experience with theater, "See, this is why we do this for moments like that out there." And I was like, wow, as stressful as it was for them and they're, professionals, uh, when the show all comes together, with wrestling in general, it's controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And once the show comes together, it's just like this one big masterpiece that no one behind the crowd doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes, but you put something like that together. And then I could hear the people after I was done with my solo. Uh, I could hear them rooting for me. You know what I mean? After I was done with my last few notes, I could hear them clapping before I was done. And I'm like, oh man, I've got these people hooked. I can have them hooked in the wrestling ring, and then I can have them hooked in theater. You know what I mean? It was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience that I would do in a heartbeat. That's for sure. Again.
You seemed so passionate. You were sharing all these behind the scenes clips. I mean, there was this one of you and your mom backstage. I think it was about 24 hours before the show. And I laughed so hard at it. Your mom, your mom was so worried, and she's like, "You can't even dance in real life. How are you going to dance on an off-Broadway musical?"
Yeah,
So, I
she
mean, I have to
she was
ask,
right.
how did mom end up liking the show? Because she was honestly in it as much as you were, it seemed.
Just like the way we're talking with and like I'm like my mom, like the way I laugh she laughs. So just imagine us doing a Zoom or a Skype and we're just like laugh like ah, ha, ha. That's how
Right.
we were, because after we watched the episodes, or after I watched the episodes, when I had time to watch it, like I would text her and like start dying laughing about certain scenes and stuff like that, and then she would FaceTime me and we would just be laughing like nonstop, all that stuff. I told my mom, you got to bring it when the cameras are on. You got to bring. I don't know what you're gonna say or what you're gonna do, but I'm literally stressed out. I'm literally stressed out doing this musical because just the dancing alone, at first I'm like, this has got to be a rib, because like they were like throwing these like difficult moves. I'm like, ladies, I'm sorry, well, not to the ladies that were helping me with my solo, but the choreographer. I said, "Are you kidding me? I have to learn this in a week. I'm not going to be able to get this. You know, you have to like help me like design something that's just easy where they can dance around me and they can move me." And like I was like I could have went along with it, but my wrestling experience taught me like you gotta foolproof it for me. You guys got to put me where I need to be. I can do simple stuff, twirl you around and do this, but you guys got to put me into situations where it's easy for me because I know the song, but when you start incorporating the dancing and like I have got to worry about what the girls are doing, it was very stressful. Like my Apple Watch, I would walk around in between takes and like my blood pressure would be like I guess 54 or 60 like normal, and then there would be times when I look it'd be 89, 90, and I would just be yelling out in the theater 90,
Oh my
89.
God.
And my mom was there and she would be like, "Sonny, why are you yelling these numbers out?" I said, "Because that's my blood pressure, because I'm just so angry." But like I said, and I'll say daily in interviews, I'll do the experience again in a heartbeat. But I'm glad everyone's watching. And actually, WWE referee Charles Robinson, he reached out to me on social media and said that he's really loving the musical. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I mean, I've publicized it a lot, but for people like Charles and yourself to really take a look at the musical, it means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Congratulations on that. I think it's so cool that you're able to expand and really just not stop. I mean, you are Mr. No Days Off for a reason. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a nickname I hold near and dear to my heart, but it's everybody. You're miss no days off. Everyone can just live that lifestyle of constant grind, hustle, and that's what we got to do. I've been lucky, knock on wood, to use my social media to partner with brands like Celsius, what else? CBD, THC brands. As we speak, I'm working on a partnership with a bidet company. Can you believe that? A bidet.
wow.
Because, and the way I'm going to pivot that on my social media is that one, a bidet, I've experienced a bidet, but it's one is good for the environment, and two, when people want to hoard toilet paper and stuff like that, a bidet is the clean is the cleanest is the
Yeah.
I'm trying, is the cleanest, is the cleanest. So I'm working on a deal with that, and
Cool.
right now as we speak, I'm working on a dating app. So I've got to meet certain deadlines. So after I'm done with you, I have to take a picture, a nice, maybe sexy picture of me on the steps with a rose, because I've partnered up with this Blued app. It's called, a dating app. So, I use my social media in that ways, and the app is the deadlines that I have to meet. It's all fun. It's like nothing where it's not PG. It's all fun. So I have to keep it moving. I have to keep it moving because when you're with WWE, honestly, you need. I've got to keep it PG. It's a full house. Um, you need permission to wipe your butt with WWE, which is all fine for us to do this interview. You have to go through so many people. Oh, can I do an
Crazy.
interview with you? Understand, but when you're independent, you got to grind. If I get opportunities to do these interviews and share my story, like I said, don't die with the story and you tell it. So, however, I can share my story. I always say there's 7 billion plus people on this planet that need to hear my story. So, I'm going to keep sharing my story until I'm 6 feet under.
I love that philosophy because I feel like there are so many people that must have lived these incredible, crazy lives, and half those stories aren't shared. So the fact that, it's not even that you have the time, it's you're making the time for all of these different things. I think that's really cool. And I feel like there's this gratifying part too, or when you get to the point of some sort of fame and stardom, when companies reach out to you and you're like, hey, we'd love to give you some free product or this for that. That's one of my favorite things about this gig. It's honestly so gratifying where you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can watch that for you. Like it's one of those bizarre things, but you're like, yeah, keep it coming.
Yeah. It's very addicting, especially during the pandemic, because when the pandemic hit, like, um, you know, it's been tough for everybody, you know what I mean? But luckily, I've been able to stay in shape. I've invested in a TRX. I've invested in kettlebell, Bosu balls. I'm not trying to turn my home into a gym, but just something where I can just get by. And uh, it's been tough because with the gym, I like to work out where there's a crowd. I like to work out by myself, a lot of the time. But there's no crowd, it's just me, myself, and I. So since March 15th, I've not seen a gym. So it's true grit to get out of bed, stretch, go in the backyard, do my Rocky style workouts, and be able to, maintain. I'm not as strong as I am. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I'm not training for strength, but like I train for better mobility. I don't lift a lot of heavy stuff, gobbler squats, and that kind of stuff reacts better to my body. So yeah, true grit doing these workouts by myself. So I've been able to maintain.
That's awesome. And there is something that I wanted to ask you about because it cracks me up how often it happens. So it's mainly how much does it annoy you or kind of frustrate you when someone uses the word former?
Oh yeah. I just did two interviews where I jokingly corrected the interviewer. Like for me, like, and I try to be fun. I don't take it serious at all. I think a lot of people think I'm like upset, but I right off the bat I just have fun with it and just say I just don't like the word former. Former just sounds like washed up. My career with WWE, I always say, started in 2003 when I was doing extra work, and then I ultimately got signed in 2009. So I've had a long history with WWE, and for anyone to call themselves a veteran, they would have had to have been with the company 10 years or more. So if you know not shading on anyone, but if you were with the company 3-4 years or whatever, God bless you, but you're not a veteran. So yeah, I like to call myself a veteran because it just sounds one tough and it just sounds legit. So I always say WWE superstar veteran, Mr. No Days Off, the Suntan Superman. I've just added Fred Rosser, my government name, and I love the
Love
Suntan
it.
Superman. I did like an IG live where this fan was like rambling off like nicknames. I'm like, one fan called me the greatest fro because this is my pandemic fro, the greatest fro of all
It's
time. So
awesome.
sometimes I'll do that. Like I'll say, because people call themselves the greatest of all time. I've got the greatest fro of all time. So I've got that catchphrase. I've got the suntan Superman. So that's like all really cool, creative stuff that a lot of fans have thrown at me during this pandemic. So yeah, I like the word veteran.
I love it. I'll definitely be sure to stay away from that one F word, next time or every time I have you on.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you about is the fact that I love how positive you are online. You mentioned how you like treating socials as if it's an open diary, almost a journal to
Yeah.
your fans. And of
Yeah.
course, everyone has their opinions about what you're going to put out there. And that's kind of the
Mhm.
pro and the con of social media. So for you, what would you say is one of the funniest or weirdest things you have actually read about yourself online?
Uh, funniest or weirdest things. Well, one thing that really gets me not angry, but well, just for a second is when it comes to relationships, because I don't have a problem talking about it because and I've learned a lot from relationships. The one thing I get a lot of slack, not a lot from people, but certain people about dating outside of your race. You know what I mean? Like, I think we should be able to love whoever we want to love, whether it's African American, Asian, Hispanic, whoever, when I see a same sex couple walking down the street in West Hollywood or something and they're interracial, I'm a quiet guy. I keep it like that. But if I see a couple like that, I just genuinely smile or I just like wave or something like that because I celebrate that. And then, there's some people on social media, like for example, this dating app I'm doing. I'm trying to find the bachelor. People are saying, "Oh, what, you don't like your own kind?" So that's the kind of negative
Yeah.
stuff I get. That's why like it doesn't bother me anymore because my blocked hate movement is like in full force, running wild in a city near you. So I literally like block them. I'm like a sniper, block, and then just block the hate. You know what I mean? You know,
I love it.
or I'll give them a little fame. I'll screenshot it, and I don't do this much, but I'll screenshot it, put it in my story, and have other people dig into them and just hear the comments. You know, so
That's my
like, huh?
I was just say that's my favorite method of kind of attacking the trolls back. I don't say
Yeah.
anything. I just like quote retweet it, and my fans just go for them.
You know, Triple H said in a meeting, "Don't let your Twitter finger be your trigger finger." Don't
Yeah,
let your Twitter finger be your trigger finger. So me personally, like I said, my social media is an open diary to the world. So anything I ever post, like I have no issue. You can't go 3 or 4 years ago and say I said X, Y, and Z. Like I know what I said. Everything is honest. Like I don't. It is what it is. It is what it is. You can dig as much as you want, but you're not gonna find negative stuff about what I said or something like that. You know, it's just that's just how I roll. Mama didn't raise no fool.
it's respectable, definitely. I feel like most people should have that outlook, but some people just don't
Yeah.
adhere to common sense.
Mm, mm.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time for coming back on. I've been wanting to catch up for a while, so I'm really happy we were able to make this happen.
Anytime, anytime. Like I said, don't die with the story and you tell it. I say it all the time because I believe it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But thanks for having me, and hopefully we can do this again anytime, uh, any place, anywhere.
Absolutely. Everyone, this has been the amazing Fred Rosser. I'm the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Grab his calendar. Today, we're going to flash his lovely socials
Yes.
up. Be
Ooh,
sure
ooh,
to
look
check
at
it out.
that. Look at that. Ooh.
Check those calendars out and visit aliciatout.com for more exclusive interviews and features. Bye, everyone.